Good morning, happy Friday, and welcome to the Early Edge. I'm the counselor of cash, Nejad, and this show is brought to you by BetMGM, the sports book born in Vegas. We've got a great Friday show set out for you, but let's see how we did on a Thursday as I look at the chat and I see Ryan, CLE fan, Eric, David, Brad Morris, Doug, Wu-Tang Forever, Ramo's in here. We went 4-5. Not exactly a great day. 4 wins, 5 losses. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've been okay this week, but we got to do better than 4-5. And I just don't know who else I can possibly do that with other than the crew from BPE Friday.
Yeah. Let's go! Ha, 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 ha.
We've got Buckets apparently raising the roof for the first time in his life. We got Danny Brasco shadow boxing, which must mean it's UFC season, and then Chip Patterson. I'm looking at the chat, Chip, and I see people saying, I need that Chip motivation today. So let's get that chip me up. Let's get that espresso.
Good morning, see you. Good morning, Danny. Good morning, Buckets. Good morning, Ben. Good morning, Early Edge fam. And I am so excited because oggi ti faremo la Fiorentina supera Mount Plus. Mwah! Ha! Andiamo! Let's go!
You got to watch us on you. If you're listening to the podcast, thanks for listening, but go back and watch us on YouTube. It's just too good. While you're watching us, make sure you're subscribed to the SportsLine YouTube channel. Buckets, Brasco, you're tearing up. Buckets, I'll start with you. How you doing today?
I don't know any. I assume that was Italian, so I'm going to do my best not to get in trouble and get canceled by pretending to know Italian. So instead, I will just applaud Chip as always on this BPE.
Well, Brasco, you are wearing old school. Is it still old school? Is it pronounced Diodora? And
That's right.
And can you confirm that was Italian from Chip Patterson?
It absolutely was. I actually lived in Florence for a couple years. I was there. Got this Diodora sweater just last October in Florence. So I'm loving the Fiorentina vibes, and Chip is an honorary Fiorentine for sure. I mean, this guy's bringing the energy today. I'm fired up.
Let's go.
Jeff Stenberg says, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Chip didn't actually need that espresso. Casey3 says that was glorious. Chip, how do you, before we get to our picks, how do you harness that type of energy? I mean, I'm trying to, I feel like I'm an energetic person, but I can't harness what you can harness. What's the secret?
Oh, bite-sized packages, baby. I mean, you think about what the energy that has to be exerted over, that's the thing that I love about Big Pick Energy Friday is that, you take everything that you would stretch across a full day, you just package it in to give the absolute best. I mean, the pure, that diesel, baby. That's what you got to bring right here. We do hour-long network shows. We do hour-long podcasts where you just have to pace yourself a little bit more. Not here on BPE Friday. You got to be nothing. All gas, no breaks for all 22, 3, 4, 5, 26 minutes, however long it goes.
All right. Well, we're 3 minutes into the show, and it's probably about that time, Buckets, to actually get to some picks. You've got 3 for us. What are they?
That's a good question. I got the wrong notes up. Give me 1 second here. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. These are for tomorrow. Here we go.
I was going to say we can start with first basket props like you almost hit with Luka a few days ago.
Oh my gosh. I watched that game. I can't tell you the last time I watched a full basketball game, but I watched him chuck up the 3. You can't ask for more than that. So yeah, no. I mean, we had the shot at least.
Yeah, we had that. For those of you that don't know, Buckets randomly basically interrupted the show and said, Luka, first basket, 3-pointer. I think it was 20-1 or was it 10-1?
It was 1,000, right? Or 2,000?
Yeah, okay,
plus
10-1.
Plus 2,000.
Oh, plus 2,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess it depended on what book you went to, but he took the first shot of the game, and it was a 3-pointer, and he missed it. So Buckets, you're always going across sports, and sometimes when you do, you absolutely smash it. So props to you, but we're going to settle on soccer today.
Let's do soccer, and let's do 3 plays for Friday like we always love to do to bring that BPE. But we're going to start in the Polish Ekstraklasa, the Polish top flight, in a matchup taking place at noon Eastern between the Radomiak Radom taking on Widzew Lodz. You got those, no problem. And of course, y'all knew it was coming. We're going both teams to score. BTTS, yes, currently priced at -120. And if you are a fan of head-to-head history, if you're one of those guys that loves saying this has hit 6 times in a row, then you love this matchup here, because over 2.5 goals has hit every single time these two teams have played since the beginning of 2022, which is 6 matches in a row. And BTTS has hit in 7 of their last matchups against each other. These are two teams that are known in the Polish league for having decent offense and absolutely no defense. The head-to-head history loves that. We have a 3-2 win for Widzew, a 3-1 win for Widzew, a 2-2 draw, a 3-1 win for Radomiak. Two teams that just don't play defense enough for me to not take BTTS every time I can. Then we go to the FA Cup, where Aston Villa are taking on Cardiff. There is a different tier between these two. Aston Villa, of course, in the English Premier League, while Cardiff are in the Championship, which means Aston Villa should win this game by 7-0. But that's not what's going to happen, because Aston Villa is distracted. They are tired. They have played something like 7 matches in the last 2 weeks. They have played so much because they've got Champions League. They've got a top 4 race in the Premier League. They've got FA Cup. They've got too much going on, which means they will rotate. They will be distracted. And I know we don't like saying this, but they will not care if they lose this match, because, again, they're still in the Champions League. I'm taking Cardiff to score at +110. Both teams to score is +120. So, of course, you can take that. But I like the idea of just needing 1 goal, finish this in the first half, and be happy and move on. Third and final play, we are looking at the matchup between AS Monaco versus Stade Reims, taking place in Ligue 1. AS Monaco, the much better side, but they're not playing like the much better side. They have conceded in 9 of their last 10 matches across all competitions. And Stade Reims is not a good team by any means, but they are staring down the barrel of relegation, which means they have to turn things on, especially against a Monaco side that is weak at the moment. Monaco are heavy favorites, but I love both teams to score once again. See ya at -130.
All right, we got a lot of picks there, one of which starts, I think the first one starts at around noon. Is that right, Buckets?
That is correct. And just going to get ahead of this one in the chat, I am aware that Chip's beloved Fiorentina played today. I do not have a wager on that game on purpose, because I have no idea how to bet this side anymore. Just going to be honest with you guys.
Chip, are we capping that game?
No, absolutely not. Not with anybody's hard-earned dollars. No, this is this is a matchup where, if you watched last time out, Moise Kean, the primary goal scorer, ended up going out with kind of a scary head injury. But without him in the last couple of weeks, they don't have a lot of goal-scoring options. And so trying to figure out who's going to step up, trying to figure out how they're going to play against a lesser Lecce side. I'm not going to be making a play on this. I'm just going in this with emotion, trying to hope that they can get a good result.
Yeah, that sounded like capping to me. I guess what he really said was take the under. That's what I heard. That's what I heard. I don't know. Speaking of taking bets, I can't stress this enough, or I should say Dano can't stress this enough. Get into the SportsLine Discord, because we've got so many different sports we're talking about, including tennis. And we see right up here, SportsLine. If you want to join, you got to be a SportsLine member, of course. Go to discord.gg/SportsLine. And you get in there. I mean, Jose Honorado has just been cranking out bets in the Discord. And a lot of these bets are happening kind of in the middle of the night or early morning. And Dano says, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I cashed another one this morning thanks to the great Jose Honorado. So again, you have a microcosm of the bets on SportsLine and in the Discord on this show. There's so many more bets on SportsLine and in the Discord. So thank you, Dano, for pointing that out. Again, if you want to be a member of SportsLine, it's sportsline.com/join. And if you type in the promo code winners, you get 60% off the annual plan. We see it right up here. You can scan that QR code, or just go to sportsline.com/join. All right. I've got some picks to get through, including some SportsLine picks, which I'll get to in a second, in the NBA and the NHL, courtesy of Prop Stars and Mikey B. And I can tell you there's a lot of NBA picks on SportsLine from Prop Stars, Prop Bet Guy, and Mikey B right here, right now. But let's go to golf, because Buckets, you had a play at around 12 o'clock. This play, it's a round 2 matchup. This one starts, I think, at 11:30 or 11:40. So we have about an hour and a half before Denny McCarthy and Max Grazerman tee off. I like Denny McCarthy as an outright. He's kind of fallen back a little bit, but he's still in the conversation. Obviously, you know my outrights if you watch the early wedge. It was Daniel Berger, Sepp Straka, Denny McCarthy, and Nikolai Højgaard. Obviously, Daniel Berger is very much contending through one round. I like Denny McCarthy, how he sets up at this course. I like his recent form. And I like that today, particularly potentially in the afternoon, when the greens get a little bit harder, kind of harder to deal with, I like Denny in tougher conditions than Max Grazerman. Obviously, yesterday was very easy conditions, but now we're going out in the afternoon. Now the course isn't as soft, and now the wind and the gusts might pick up just a little bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit. And I prefer the technician, Denny McCarthy, over the inexperience of Max Grazerman out here. So I like this number, -120. Other books have it at -125. I'd probably play this up to -135. So clearly I see value there. Give me Denny McCarthy -120 over Max Grazerman in a head-to-head matchup. If you have three balls you want to ask me about or other matchups, we got the rest of the show for you to ask me. I'll check out the comments for that. But here are the SportsLine picks. I'll go quickly through this so we can get to Danny Brasco and we can get to Chip Patterson. Colorado Avalanche -1 at -133. That's from Matt Severance. Trae Young under 39.5 points, rebounds, and assists at -118. That's from Prop Stars. And John Morant over 22.5 points at -110. That's from Mikey B. Before we get to Danny Brasco, I do want to tell you about the first bet offer, $1,500 plus a free subscription to SportsLine. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, sign up now and you'll get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM, plus a 1-year free subscription to SportsLine with bonus code SportsLine1500. Get exclusive members-only picks for all major sports, proven models, and 40-plus Vegas experts, plus predictive tools for pick'em, brackets, player stats, and more. Get this offer in 4 easy steps. Download the BetMGM Sports app and register an account using bonus code SportsLine1500. Make your first deposit of at least $10. Place your first wager and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if the bet loses, and claim your free 1-year subscription to SportsLine in your BetMGM inbox. We're going full micro machines on that. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to get to some shadow boxing, some UFC, some Chip Patterson, some college basketball. We're going to do it right after this message from our partners.
Who's in? Who's out? Let the madness begin. The NCAA Men's Basketball Championship Selection Show on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
We're back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Danny, before you get started, I got a question from Scott Y. Do you like Highsmith over Svensson? Not really. I lean that way, but it's just not something I would bet. So I'll address some more golf questions in the chat in a second. But Danny, we got to talk about UFC. You've got the floor, my friend.
See, we got a UFC fight night that has no marquee names. It's going to be a very unremarkable card, but I love these cards. The big pay-per-view events have all the white noise and the fight narratives. This guy's fighting for that. He's got this past. Put all that aside, look at the matchup in front of you, and it's two people fighting in a cage. Bet on the right side. Let's find some valuable lines. First matchup, Charles Energy Johnson. I got him at -106. Guys, this line is on the move. I knew I wanted him at +115. He's up to -130 on some books, and he's facing a big, bad, foreign, powerful grappler guy in Ramazanbek Temirov. Tough name. Sia doesn't have to say that one. But this is a familiar test. They've sent him a lot of these big, bad foreign guys that have all this power. They come out of the gate swinging just like Temirov, throws everything into his shots, and he's a very physical grappler too. But Johnson, 17-6 pro career, has never been stopped. Temirov's on a 5-fight KO streak, but if he can't find that KO or get those takedowns going against Johnson, who's faced a lot of high-level UFC grapplers and has only gotten better with his defense and is now on a 4-fight win streak, I think he's going to be behind the 8 ball. Johnson's got a 7-inch reach advantage and a big boxing technical advantage too. I think he could just fall into rhythm, defend those early takedowns, weather the early storm with the big haymakers, and then just start piece, stick and move. And Johnson uses that veteran experience and ring generalship to get the win. So give me Charles Johnson for the first one. Before I give this next pick, guys, I might recommend that you head down to your local department store, pick up some flashlights, batteries, maybe a gallon of water, some essentials, because there's a category 5 coming through. It's Hyder, the Hurricane, Emil, and oh my God, this guy might be my new favorite fighter. I was on my feet in the middle of a Tuesday afternoon screaming, watching his fight tape. Wow, the guy will walk through absolute hellfire. In his last fight, he finished it with a 35-punch combination. I didn't say that wrong. 35 punches in a row. He has the chin of 1,000 armies. He is an amazing gas tank, and he's actually really well coached, too. He's very skilled. He's not just some mindless brawler. He's coached by Gilbert Melendez, very smart MMA mind. So he's mixing those intangibles with the skill set now. And he's facing a guy in William Gomis that has fought to 3 split decisions in the UFC. He's 4-0 in the UFC, but a majority decision and 2 splits. Cheeky. I don't think he gets away with this one against Emil, who's always throwing combinations. He finishes combos with a kick, which is really nice, always scoring somehow, and he can mix in his grappling if it's not working. Gomis, don't think he has the power to get his respect. Give me Hyder the Hurricane all day. Last pick, this is an ugly one. No one will like it. That's why I'm betting it. It's Cody Brundage at plus 110. This line's on the move as well. Brundage was bailed out in a couple of his last fights. He actually had a no contest due to his opponent who was beating on him, put an illegal elbow on the top of his head. Ref called the fight off. He actually won a fight just like that as well due to disqualification to his opponent. So kind of cheeky results for Brundage. A lot of people are going to be down on him for that, but I don't think he deserves to be the underdog nonetheless. Just because he's an ugly bet because of those results, I'm still backing him. He's fighting a guy in Julian Marquez that has only fought twice in the last 2 years. And his last win is over a guy that was long been out of the UFC. I think Marquez is only the favorite because he had a big moment, popular moment, asking out Miley Cyrus after he won a fight once. Like, that's the biggest moment of his career to me. I think Brundage is better, more active, and he gets the job done. He's also fighting for his daughter, who has a rare genetic condition. So you just kind of want to root for the guy to win. I'm backing Cody Brundage this weekend. There's 3 UFC Fight Night picks.
Miley Cyrus, underrated as a singer and an actress.
She's good.
Have you guys ever seen her act?
I mean, from the beginning of her career, yes.
Oh, I don't even mean that. I mean like adult, like, you know, in more of the post I'm famous phase. She was on that show Black Mirror and some others. She's a great actress. I'm very impressed.
I think that Miley is the cover queen. Everyone now knows that, like, she will take any song that has like ever been great, give it her own spin, and absolutely crush it. And I think that that's kind of what we've seen. I mean, like, she did it at Saturday Night Live at the 50th anniversary show. Like, anytime that she's a musical guest, like, she does a 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover by Paul Simon. She does a version of that just absolutely slays. And so, yeah, I mean, nothing but respect to Miley here on my side.
Buckets, we know who Miley Cyrus is, yes?
We do, but I was so distracted looking at Danny's pick on Hyder Emil. That guy's jaw looks like it could cut glass. I mean, just absolutely a monstrous fighter there. I'm placing this bet, Sia. Sorry, I got distracted.
Yeah, if he goes through and walks through William Gomis and does what Hyder Emil does, you will never see plus 170 on this guy again. He is electric. I highly recommend a bet. Even if it loses, like I always like to say, he will fight for your money.
Well, I mean, it's a plus 170 too. So you know, that's what I appreciate about you. Wow. Okay. Yeah. We've got the picture on the screen. Yeah. This guy's not,
chin, the granite
this guy's
chin,
not going
guys.
down on one punch. That's for sure. GAWD says, this guy, Danny, is really good. Noted soccer hater, GAWD. Go ahead, Buckets.
Danny, I have placed a $20 wager on that pick, and I just want to let it know that when it hits, not if, when it hits, I will be donating the winnings to a charity of your choice there, because this one just seems too good to be true.
Oh, yeah. We're going to do some sort of pit bull rescue. I know you're a big dog guy, so we'll do some for the dogs.
Okay, so Ray Garcia says, how can I find that golf bet on BetMGM? Okay, so Ray, unfortunately, that bet is not on BetMGM. BetMGM has a lot to choose from, but that matchup isn't on there. It happens to be on DK and on FanDuel. So that's where you can find the bet I put out. Again, these golf bets can be kind of finicky because some books have certain bets and some books have other bets. But I noticed some people saying they had Denny McCarthy over Patrick Rogers. I lean that way, but just know that the Denny McCarthy play that I put out is on DK and on FanDuel. All right. Well, that's some UFC plays. Brad Morris is touting the NHL portion of our Discord, by the way, that channel, because plenty of plus money bets have been hitting in that one too. Brasco, go ahead.
Yeah, I just have to mention, I'm in the Discord all the time. Like, there's a combat channel where I'll put my analysis and my thoughts and go back and forth with people. But I bet college basketball often. People may not know that about me, but I love college ball. Not a fan of the NBA. I'm always checking to see what Tom Casale's got, right? Jose's been on fire in tennis. Jose's in the UFC chat. I got to go pop over to that tennis chat more often. Like, there's so much value to be had in the Discord. If you're an information junkie like me, just go and read and collect, and you'll find value.
Well, speaking of college basketball, Chip Patterson, I do believe you have a Friday night. We used to call it Friday Night Lights, right? I guess we can kind of still call it that, but we got a Friday night basketball game that's kind of a good one here.
Well, look, thanks to the Big Ten, our Friday night slate has actually given us some really, really good matchups. Much respect to the action. You know, now I'm able to sort of like turn my attention here to some of the big dogs that we'll be breaking down. And buddy, you want to talk about needs, okay? There's needs and wants in life, okay? Purdue needs a win. The Boilermakers are down so bad. They've lost 4 games in a row, and they return home to Mackey Arena, where they have enjoyed over the last couple of years one of the best home court advantages in all of college basketball. But here's the problem. A lot of those wins that they've been having had when they were when they had 7'4" Zach Edey near the rim, because what has been exposed in Big Ten play is that Purdue is an absolute sieve going against other teams' interior. That means their 2-point percentage defense is the worst in the Big Ten, and it has been horrendous in recent weeks. But I know what I see when I get Purdue playing at home. The 3-point percentages go up. The offensive efficiency percentages go up. All of the offensive numbers, when they get to that home cooking, they end up going over the total. UCLA comes to town. The Bruins have won 9 of their last 11, and in that stretch have been playing some of their best offensive ball. And what UCLA has is a couple of forwards and centers that are going to be able to take advantage of Purdue's weakness inside, because both teams play at a low tempo. We have a lower number. I think the efficiency for both teams is going to be through the roof. So even if we have less possessions, you're still getting points on all those possessions. And if you believe that the trend is your friend, I'm just going to leave this one with you. Purdue home games in Big Ten play, the over is 7-1. It's because shots go in more and the defense just gives up everything at the rim. So we're going to continue to roll with that. Purdue UCLA over 140.5.
Buckets, do we have the $20 vote of confidence on that pick as well?
Well, I've got a question before we get the confidence for that one. And I know that we're all thinking this in the chat, Chip, so I just want to kind of address the elephant in the room. What is a Boilermaker?
A choo-choo train.
A choo-choo train?
Yeah.
Okay, that's dope. Yeah, I'll put 20 on that. That sounds good to
me. Remember, we have to have the mascot picking bracket when it comes out in less than 3 weeks. And we have to have the coin flip bracket as well, Bucket. So we got to do all of that. Okay, Party in the USA is a good song, says Scott Y.
Yeah.
I mean, it is catchy. Can I go around the horn real quick before we get to the recap screen? And can you think of off the top of your head a song that you like that you wouldn't necessarily want to admit, like because it like might be embarrassing that you like it, or maybe it's a band if you can't think of the song itself? Is anybody ready? And I want the chat to answer that question too, of course. Anybody ready to answer that question?
I'm ready right now.
Okay, Brasco,
we all are.
Brasco,
and this. Now I'm actually proud to say that I love this band, but maybe if I was in high school or earlier on, people would have dogged me for it. I love me some Creed. Wow. What a fantastic. Creed is excellent. And they used to be ragged on. They are just phenomenal.
They've aged well. So there's a lot of Creed being played in like hockey locker rooms right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, never knew Christian rock band Creed.
Yeah, that's interesting.
You didn't catch up on that imagery.
When I got older, I did, right? Hello, my friend, with me down
I didn't catch up on it until much later either. I'm just like all over my head. But Creed's an interesting one because you're going to get so much hate for that, but then you're going to get the people that are on the other side being like, you know what, you're right, they're good. Buckets, any response to this?
I listen to an unhealthy amount of female K-pop, like Blackpink, Girls' Generation, Red Velvet. I am obsessed with K-pop in general.
I don't know what that is.
It's like Korean pop music.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't understand a word.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know what they're saying. I don't know what's going on, but just the vocals, the choreography, everything about it is just so much better than anything I can fathom. So I listen to that way too much.
Buckets, you're like a BTTS guy, right? Isn't that the name of a Korean pop
There's
band?
a Korean group called BTS. So it's just both to score, not both teams to score.
Well, that's probably why you like that bet so much subconsciously. Chip Patterson, what's your answer?
So in the late 90s and early 2000s, everybody was trying to cash in on the pop wave, like whether it was a boy group, they also tried some girl groups. And out in Ireland, they created a girl pop group called Bewitched. And Bewitched had a crossover hit in America called C'est La Vie, which is an absolute
I know that one.
Banger. Say you say you say you do what I know. Yeah. It's a good song. So that's one that is like, what's a song that you might be slightly embarrassed by? I've got to tell you, it's like, well, remember when everybody was trotting out a boy group or a girl group? Well, there's a group from Ireland named Bewitched, and C'est La Vie was awesome.
Deep cut.
That is okay. First of all, that's great that Buckets actually knew the reference, and he was just so happy that he was able to catch a reference. That was a really good moment.
I never get to understand what Chip is saying, but this one I finally got, so that's cool.
Mark Thomas says early Fallout Boy. I mean, that's not embarrassing. Nickelback is the winner, says Joe Neuenfeld. I mean, that's divisive one, I should say. Spice Girls from Scott Y. Wonderwall. Okay, that's a song, but yeah, fair enough. Who sings that? Oasis, right? Let's see. We've got a lot in here. I'll tell you what, I'm going to tweet this out because I gotta reveal my. So I can't think of a song. We built this city. That's old school from M. Fisher.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with anything NSYNC related. I think all the NSYNC stuff is good. So that's going to be my answer. If I can't reduce it to it, Ricky Martin is a good answer from Scott Y. Scott Y is just full of good answers today. All right, we're gonna cap it there, but I'm gonna tweet this out because I want to get everybody's answer on this. Let's get to the recap screen before we get out of here. I've got Denny McCarthy today. This starts in about an hour. -120 over Max Grazerman. This is a round 2 matchup. Tweet at me if you have a matchup that you like that I wasn't able to respond to on this show. Purdue UCLA. That's tonight. We're taking the over. At least Chip Patterson's taking the over. At 140.5 at -105. UFC Fight Night picks. We got Charles Johnson -106. Haider Amil +170 and Cody Brundage +110. Buckets, you're doing this one.
Oh, yeah. No, I got this one, Sia. Don't worry. I can handle this. We got Radio Macdonaldam taking on Vitzu Lodz, both teams to score. Aston Villa taking on Cardiff, just Cardiff to score at +110. And AS Monaco taking on Stade Reims, both teams to score.
All right, and we're not done with picks yet because we've got 3 SportsLine picks, but I can tell you there's a ton of picks, particularly NBA related on SportsLine right now. NHL, Colorado Avalanche -1 at -133. Trae Young under 39.5 points, rebounds, and assists at -118. John Morant over 22.5 points at -110. Can't get enough of the late, great Bill Withers, was it, from Eric David? That's certainly not an embarrassing one, though, right? Backstreet Boys is a good answer from Joe Neuenfeld. This is the Bewitched thing. Okay,
yeah, that's the album cover of the self-titled debut over there. That's the one that had C'est La Vie on it, on the far left.
Okay, gotcha. Mark Gillett might have a podium answer here in Hanson. Hanson,
yeah.
When a Hanson song comes on, I don't turn it off. I turn it up. I'm just.
Can you?
It's not just the Mbop one. They've got a couple of other ones.
I was just gonna say, can you name another song besides Mbop?
Yeah, I can. If only.
Wow.
It's a great song. Go listen to it. And they've got a third one that I'm forgetting right now. Check out If Only. LL Cool J. There's nothing embarrassing about
He's
that.
awesome.
What are we doing, Scott? You're on such a roll. What are we doing? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we gotta get you out of here. We got so much more content coming. Don't forget the early wedge. We've got a show tonight on the early wedge, recapping rounds 1 and 2, and just kind of leading into Saturday and Sunday. That's going to be a great show. And also, don't forget, at 1 o'clock on Sunday, I'm going to be hosting the early wedge, and it's going to be a live betting show. It's me, Mike McClure. I think Patrick McDonald is joining me. Maybe Jason Sobel. I'm trying to get the roster on that, but that's going to be a very interesting show. And any questions you have live during this golf tournament on Sunday when people are teeing off and playing and outrights are going to be determined, we're going to answer those questions for you. So again, Sunday at 1 o'clock, make sure you tune in. Love the new early wedge content, says James Valdez. Thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what a great Friday on behalf of Chip Patterson, Danny Brasco, Buckets, Ben on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. It's been a great show. Let's have an even better Friday. Let's also cash some tickets along the way. This is the early edge. We rest our case.